So since our last video, I've done a little bit of extra work. I didn't want to bore you with the details of putting it on video, but I'll go through it with you very quickly. So we've now got the front suspension in place, and you can see there's just 4 screws that hold that in place. That's nice and easy to put on. And then also we've got the rear suspension in place. There we are. And again, 4 screws that hold the suspension units in place, top and bottom. The other thing we've done is we've put the exhaust on. So the exhaust has now been connected to the clip at the front, slid into the coupler, and it's been cable tied. I always use stripy cable ties if I can, because I think it gives it a bit more of a professional finish. So that's been done. The fuel pipe has been connected, so the breather to the top of the tank, and then the feed from the fuel pipe there through to the carburetor has been connected. And then lastly, I've just put in the throttle servo. This one slides in from the top, so it's nice and easy, and you can see there's just 4 screws that holds that in place, and then the linkage is also in. Hopefully you can get a good view of that there. So that actually crosses itself, so the linkage goes to the carburetor and also to the brake mechanism. So that's now working. So if I just turn that, you should be able to see the carburetor open and close. So that's ready. I can't set up that completely yet until we turn the servos on, which we'll do a little bit later on. But the next job to do very quickly is to put the wheels on. So you may remember when this car was first stripped down, the wheels were in a terrible condition, and I just decided we would put those straight in the bin, not even try and refurbish them. So they've now gone in the bin, and in their place we're going to fit 4 brand new wheels. Okay, now these wheels haven't yet had their tyres glued on, so the tyres are still loose. I'll show you how to do that, but there is a separate video on my YouTube channel that shows you how to glue tyres on. So if you want to look at that, that will certainly help you to do that. So we're going to make sure that we get the treads in the right direction, because if you look at the wheels, the treads run in different directions. So there's 2, and look at these 2. And there's the other 2, so we'll just make sure they're all the same, so they're opposites and they're correct, so they all point forward in the same way as you'd expect on a car. So to fit the wheels then, we have the little pins. If you forget this pin or lose this pin, you're in trouble, because that's what drives the wheel. So the pin goes through the hole in the axle. I'll try and show you a close-up of that. There we are. Pin goes through the hole in the axle, and then onto that pin goes the hex bolt with the slot. And it's the slot that drives. So there we are, felt it clip on, and that's done. And then onto that, the wheel clips in. And there we are, that's the first one done. Put a washer on, and in this case we're going to put a brand new nut. And there we are, that's the first wheel in place. And again, I'm just using my little RC spanner tool. You could use anything you like, a pair of pliers or even a socket if you've got one. But there we are, that's the first wheel on. Again, we're going to do the next one. So we want... where's my pin? I need my pin first of all to go through the hole at the back. Come on, in you go. And then we need a hex nut to go on there, and it's this one this time, because we want 2 to go in the same direction. 1 washer. Washers always go on there to hold the wheel in place. Just gives it a little bit of extra stability when it's going around corners. So we'll put that on there. Do it nice and tight. We'll turn it over, do the same the other side. So here's the hole, there we are, that's the front one. And a nut, and a wheel, and a washer, and a fixing nut. And you can see how this car is beginning to come together now. It's beginning to look like a lot nicer car than it was when we first started. When we first started, it was in a terrible position, terrible condition. But as you can see, it's now looking an awful lot better. So if I do the last one, and then we'll see how that works. Wheel goes on, nut goes on. One thing I've also done, by the way, if you remember in one of the previous videos, when I put the central drive belt on that connects the front to the rear, there was a stabilizer bar that goes onto the side, this one here, and there was missing a circlip. I found a second circlip, so it's now got both circlips on, so it can't possibly fall off now. So there we are, that's the car, and as you can see there, it's ready to run. It's got 4 tyres on it, and we'll just put the air filter in place just on the engine. just to protect it from any residue. And it's a matter of putting the receiver in and the cover on, and it's pretty much ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the receiver in place. Now, as I said to you previously, the receiver was knackered from the original one because it just didn't work. So in this case, we're going to put this receiver on, which is it's actually a Schumacher receiver, but it's a badge Schumacher. So it's just a standard, it's a 27 megahertz receiver, and we're going to put it in place, and we're going to tape it down. So I'm going to go and find some tape, and we'll stick that in place. The wire needs to be fed up through the aerial hole, and the wires then need to come back to the receiver and be pinned here. So I'll do that now, and I'll come back to you with a final video, and we'll do the cover fitting. Thank you.